The Levitt Product Lifecycle Model by Dante Saunders, Tiffany Toe, and Paul Dabney. To begin, let us start with a little history on Theodore Levitt. Theodore Levitt was an American economist born in 1925 and passed away in 2006. He is most known for being a faculty member of the Harvard Business School and editor of the Harvard Business Review. Levitt is also credited with coining the term globalization. While he may not have been the first to ever use the term, there is no argument that he popularized it. One of his great articles, Marketing Myopia, published in 1960, discusses the needed shift of companies to focus on its customers and not just its products, a revolutionary idea at the time of its conception. The article that this presentation is based on, however, is an article entitled Exploit the Product Life Cycle. What is the product life cycle? A suitable definition of the term can be the measurement of the existence of goods in their hypothesized fallout and/or development into an industry standard by a particular industry and consumer base. Let us explore further by moving on to the next slide. This figure is a simple representation of the product life cycle. It consists of 4 different stages: introduction or development, growth, maturity, and lastly, decline. As you can see, the product life cycle is, more or less, a bell curve. Let us discuss the properties that describe each of the stages. Let us start with the first, introduction/development. The introduction/development stage consists of several different properties. First brought to market, as the property already suggests, describes a product that is first introduced to the market, where there is no proven demand, and where demand must be created. Some factors that determine whether a product leaves this stage are if the product is new or not, how complex the product is, and if the product is even needed. A good example of these qualities can be described by the following. Would a new product that has been proven to cure cancer be more effective than a new sugar substitute that exhibits unproven benefits? Surely the first option would be the more viable answer. As with every new product venture, the hosting company must ask itself if the cost and time are worth pursuing it. The company should consider these 2 cons, in addition to the idea of attempting to create demand discussed on the previous slide. It is also an unfortunate truth that most products tend to have a definite and constant descending curve when it comes to their life cycle. They simply never leave the introduction/development stage and continue to dwindle till the product is given up on. On the bright side, one policy attempts to combat the negativity and risk when it comes to developing a new product. It is called the used apple policy. This policy, when implemented successfully by a competing company, enables it to closely watch another company as it, quote, takes the first bite, unquote, into a new product. Should that company prove that the product is indeed an option, then, in theory, a company with good used apple policy will take the second biggest bite and not the 9th or even 10th smaller bite in order to grab a larger market share later in the product's life cycle. The next stage in the product life cycle is growth. Some key points regarding this stage are a gradual rise in sales and in consumer demand, and also by the involvement of many competitors. An easy way to remember the growth stage is to think about Apple and its products. Once Apple comes out with a product and gains a consumer base, other competitors join in with their own products, attempting to steal some of those customers away through product differentiation and brand loyalty. One key aspect of this stage is the idea of trying versus preferring. The underlying principle of this idea is to get customers to simply prefer your product rather than trying it. Attempting to create product differentiation eases this process. The next stage in the product life cycle is maturity. Let's explore some of the defining characteristics of this stage. The first is market saturation. This means that the market is essentially soaked with the product from multiple companies, or just one product who has a solid grasp on the market. Also in this stage, companies should be wary that the product has indeed reached maturity, and that distribution pipelines should not be filled any more than needed. It should simply be retained. In addition, companies have also developed even finer differentiations of the initial breakthrough product design, and are trying to establish brand loyalty and are simply retaining shelf space at the retail level. Companies are also communicating directly with the consumer while depending less and less on retailers and distributors. Essentially, companies no longer require a middleman in the maturity stage to promote their product since it has been established. How long a product remains in this stage is determined by how frequently the old product gets overtaken by new products. A good example to demonstrate this would be the following. Consider women's fads, such as clothing and shoes, compared to industrial strength fasteners used to hold down objects. The final stage in the product life cycle is the decline stage. Products in this stage can be characterized by being overtaken by a new and revolutionary product, such as was the case with the shift from MP3 players to iPods. Companies can even be overwhelmed by overcapacity issues. Most consumers have become, at this stage, bored with the product as well. There are also some companies who are clearly in denial, claiming that they can survive with their outdated product. This is called the survivor effect. During this aspect of the decline stage, companies try to buy out, or even merge with other companies who seem to be phasing out because they specialized in that one product, forcing them to give in order to survive. While some companies do manage to survive with this logic, most, however, do not. Thank you for watching this brief presentation on the Levitt product life cycle.